From Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.
On News Hour tonight, Benue State attracts PDP presidential aspirants as Saraki Tambuwal Bala meet Governor Ortom. Suspended DCP Abakari moves to Kuje prison. Bandits kill 15 villagers in fresh attack in Kaduna. And on the foreign scene, catastrophic situation in Mariupol as UN estimates almost 4 million Ukrainians have fled. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Hour. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Now the news in full. Former President of the Senate, Bukola Saraki, Governor Aminu Tambuwal of Sokoto, and Governor Bala Muhammad of Bauchi State on Wednesday visited the Benue State Governor Samuel Ortom to consult with him over their presidential admissions. The trio said they are in Makurdi as a team to hold private discussions with Ortom on furtherance of their ambitions as well as the interest of the country. Saraki, who addressed Ortom on behalf of the team, said they decided to form a unity team, mainly to enable them reach a consensus among themselves in the days ahead. He stressed that they took the initiative to work as a team without anybody forcing them to do so.
When we get to that bridge, I think it is for you to
because the country is divided by personal interests. Responding, Governor Ortom utilized the trio, describing them as eminently qualified to be the president of Nigeria.
To start talking about unity and consensus. We on our own innovative took that. And I believe that spirit will take us through those issues of what will divide us. The country is too divided. The suffering people are going through is beyond our personal ambition. That's the whole purpose of this. As we said when we met first time in Bauchi, we did not need to tell the public we were meeting. We could have met and nobody would have known what we had discussed. We are men of honor and integrity. For us to come out to the public and tell you this is our view, it shows that we are committed to it. And what are we committed about? We are committed about PDP winning. Any of the aspirant is elegantly competent to rule this country and lead this country. But whoever that person is also needs all of us because the challenges and things, that is what is priority. Not whether it's Aminu is the president or it's Balano or Udom or Wiki or Ayim or Waziri. No, it is what to make Nigeria grow better. And we believe it's PDP platform. And so forget it, that issue that anybody will walk and scatter. No, that's not what is before us.
This government of President Muhammadu Buhari have brought this country to its knees. But I'm not surprised because in 2014, he told Nigerians that he was going to bring Nigeria from top to bottom. But we didn't understand. And that is where we are. My worry is that we're not just going to the bottom, we're going beneath the earth. So that is why PDP is willing to rescue Nigeria and then rebuild it. Truly, look at, just here, the three gentlemen that are standing here. Yesterday, we had another gentleman from Rivers State Governor Wike who declared here in Benue State that he was going to seek for presidency. Look at these young men and compare the ancestors from APC that are seeking to be country. The young shall grow now. Let's allow this youth to grow. Truly, like I quote from my brother, the governor of Oyo State, who said that anybody who is after 70 years and is looking for presidency is an evil person who wants to ruin this country. Any person beyond 70 years should not be looking for presidency. These are people, today we're in the computer age. These three gentlemen you see here, they are computer literate. And they have the capacity. They are in the digital world. We cannot continue to be in the analog.
Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed says Nigeria's government recorded modest achievements in the last 7 years, insisting that, contrary to opponents' claim, APC government made marks in the areas of infrastructure, agriculture and economic development. The minister who gave the verdict also accused previous administration of laying the groundwork for the current hardship of today, as he challenged the main opposition party in the country to present its 16-year scorecard to Nigerians. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman reports.
7 years down the lane, the Buhari government says it has been consistent and steadfast in transforming the country through massive investments in infrastructure, agriculture, social interventions, among several others.
We are proud that in our time, the second Niger Bridge, which they had built on paper several times, is almost ready for delivery. In addition to the second Niger Bridge, we have built or repaired the following, among others: Ecom Bridge in Cross River, Loco Oweto Bridge in Nasarawa, Ibi Bridge in Taraba, and Bamenda Info Bridge linking Nigeria and the Cameroons.
Apparently responding to the current statistics in comparison with what was obtainable before this administration in 2015, such as unemployment, inflation, cost of energy and poverty levels, Lai Mohammed says those brandishing the figure are not mindful of the fact that Nigeria operates within the global economic dynamics.
They said they are ready to rescue Nigeria. Pray where the kidnappers rescue their victims. These same guys who kidnap the fortunes of their country are suddenly posing as rescuers. We are not unmindful of the challenges facing this administration, either in the area of economy, security, or power. But we have risen stoutly to the challenges, judiciously utilizing the very scarce resources that we have, and we are making an impact.
As the nation grapples with rising unemployment, inflation, and poverty indices, the Nigerian government says it is working hard to address governance deficit it inherited, utilizing limited resources at its disposal to build an enduring economy. Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now, petty traders, party faithful and workers at the All Progressive Congress National Secretariat in Abuja have set a template for the new leadership to steer the party to victory. Some of them, who speak exclusively to Trust TV, want the new executive to prioritize unity, justice and staff welfare as they settle for the task ahead. Once again, Shafiu Suleiman reports.
The emergence of a new set of leadership at the zonal and national levels of the All Progressives Congress (APC) is coming on the heels of intra-party acrimony that emanate from the state congresses, but the party navigated through with its consensus option adopted at the just concluded convention.
If he collect a new person and the people where he did before, me I no talk against them, but I want make another person, new person where he can make it do better pass the people where he did before. Nobody say he no do well, but we need to know something. Nobody say he be. So I need better thing for new thing.
These party loyalists want the new chairman of the party, Abdullahi Adamu, and his team to be fair and just to all members as panacea for a successful tenure. Ibrahim Hamisu ride on top of this karma all the way from Katsina State to be part of the national convention. He says he took the risk in the interest of his party in an uncommon style.
I want them to join from where the old leadership have stopped.
How can we have a new leader? We expect them to bring goodness, the sustainability. Best example, staff renovation, some other things, good caring of work. As a leader, he knows.
Now that the APC has managed to weather the storm generated in the days leading to its convention, respondents say managing the fallout of the national gathering is crucial to consolidate on its gain.
As the new leadership of the All Progressives Congress (APC) emerge, expectations are high here at the party secretariat amongst members of the party, operatives within the secretariat of the party, as well as well-wishers. They've set a benchmark or a template for the incoming leadership to follow. Their major concern is seeing the new leadership resolve the disagreements and, of course, discontent among the party leaders and party members across the states.
Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And former Senate President Bukola Saraki says the security situation worsened in the country under the APC's watch, advising the government to stop blaming others but work towards the people, what the people elected it to do. Saraki speaks on Trust TV's interactive program, 30 Minutes.
We have voted for government, we must take responsibility.
Yes.
Let's not have a debate for the sake of a debate. Let's look at how it affects the lives of people. People who are living in Jibia, for example, in Katsina, could go freely. I drove all the way from Katsina onto Zamfara. You can do that. You can't do that now. You can agree that the country, as a country, when it was defined, even by a lot of analysts, said the country, there are 4 types of countries. There are strong countries, there are weak countries, there are countries where you call the failing, and there are countries that are called failed states. You can argue that Nigeria might have been a weak state, but today you cannot. It has moved from a weak state to a failing. That's not debatable. And I think to be unfair on Nigerians who are going through much pain, for us to be arguing those fine details. The reality is, when you put yourself to vote, people to vote for you, you make promises. You say, when I become president, or when my government party forms government, we will make your life better. And what we should ask ourselves is not what has been seen. Is the life better? Is the life better secure-wise? Are there more people who are unemployed who have not become employed? Is the level of corruption has gone down? Is there inclusion? All those issues.
Chief Executive Officer, Institute of Human Virology and Plateau State Governorship aspirant, Dr. Patrick Dakum, believes that the just concluded APC National Convention shows political maturity and what the party is capable of doing ahead of the 2023 elections. Chamun Dabeng has more on the story.
A couple of weeks to this convention, if you read the newspapers and political pundits, everybody was predicting doom. Everybody was wondering, how will this party deal with the differences in opinion that were beginning to rear their heads out? What's going to happen? We had a caretaker extraordinary convention committee. Suddenly, you can hear in the newspaper that, oh, did he travel for a medical checkup, or has he been removed? And the vibes that were coming out from various quarters just indicated that there is a sharp disagreement. And so everybody was wondering what's going to happen. Well, some of us were confident that this convention will come, it will be successful, and the basis of that is because it's historical that whenever elections are coming and conventions like this will take place, there's usually a storm. But after the storm, if the political actors are matured in politics, the storm will calm down. Because in the end, are you going to lose the whole party and you lose everything, or are you going to now, decide to humble yourself and let your own interest down and other interests to supersede that will enable the party to come together? And I think wisdom prevailed and God answered, and therefore at the end of it, we had an election, we had a convention that I consider successful.
2 terms governor of Nasarawa State, Senator Abdullahi Adamu, emerged as the national chairman of the party through consensus. Can the newly elected leadership handle the issues in the party and challenges the country is facing?
I will just talk about one person, and that's the chairman. And when he was governor of Nasarawa State, he laid the foundations and framework for the development of Nasarawa State. And remember that he's the first elected governor of Nasarawa State since his birth. And therefore, the initial infrastructure that you have there and the building up of that state were laid by him. And the experiences that he has gathered, not in that executive arm also, but as a senator for several years, when you combine experiences of the executive wing at the level of a governor and that of a legislator at the level of a senator, you've gone to the highest of both. And therefore, for me, the experience he has gathered is good enough for him to be able to lead the party, but provide, ensure that there is oversight by the party for elected officials to be able to provide the dividends of democracy to the electorate, whether it's at the local government level, the state level, or at the national level. And usually, if there are issues that have come up in governance between the legislative arm and the executive arm, the party normally calls its members for a dialogue. Who will do this dialogue best? And who will lead the party to ensure that there is harmony within at least the legislative and the executive arm? Will be somebody that has a taste of both. So for us, for some of us, you know, the emergence of Abdullahi Adamu as the national chairman, with his age and experience in both sides of the aisle, we'll call it, gives him that requisite experience to be able to lead and lead effectively.
Dr. Dakum also speaks about plans to address security challenges that threaten the nation.
The Chinese have a saying, how do you eat up an elephant? And the answer is one bite at a time. It means then that how do we deal with the entire security situation? You have Boko Haram, you have bandits, you have got kidnappers here and there, you have got this and that. How do you deal with it? One sector after the other, one geographic area after the other. If you take it all as a once and want to push ahead, you probably will need 10 times that time to do it. But if, for example, in Plateau we're experiencing a relative peace, let us apply a modified logic according to how it will suit Katsina, how it will suit Sokoto, how it will suit Southern Kaduna, you know, and how it will suit the southeast area. Anywhere that there must be a local, you know, adjustment of the security apparatus to suit that.
Chamun Dabeng, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And the race to succeed Kaduna State Governor Nasiru El-Rufai in the 2023 elections is gaining momentum as more aspirants show interest to run for the governorship seat in the ruling APC and the leading opposition party, PDP. Fatima Saleh-Laden has more.
The wind of politics in the country is blowing. Kaduna State is not left out. Intense competition among aspirants showing interest for the governorship of the state is manifesting.
Power belongs to you. You can put a stamp of approval on my bid and without delay prepare for the task of checkmating our political opponents.
It is a great honor and privilege for me to be here today to address the APC executive, who collectively represent a critical team of managers of political engagement and participation.
And for the leading opposition People's Democratic Party, it is time to transform the state to its past glory.
Our infrastructure are in shambles, especially in the rural areas. There are some roads that are rehabilitated and constructed in Kaduna, but those of us that are from rural areas, we do not know of the existence of government.
So far, 4 candidates have openly declared interest for the governorship seats. Others have not come out to declare, but are reaching out to supporters on the ground. Who will eventually succeed the present governor? Only time shall tell. Fatima Saleh-Laden, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
Suspended DCP Abba Kyari will remain in detention pending his illicit drug trial, as Federal High Court presided over by Justice Emeka Nwite refused his bail application. The court held that the NDLEA has placed sufficient evidence before the court enough for it to refuse the bail application. The report.
Abba Kyari is facing charges bordering on deals in illicit drugs. He's already facing extradition to the United States on charges of wired fraud. The second defendant, who is an assistant superintendent of police, is under investigation for money laundering and may face charges on some offences.
We have moved the bail applications in regards to the top defendants, and the court has adjourned for the 27th of April for the ruling. And because the last sitting, we were served a counter affidavit, which of course we responded to. And based on that, we moved our motion today. And the court adjourned for 27. We are hoping that the judge will benevolently, like I requested, grant us 1 out of the 7 kola nuts before the court.
Recall that the suspended Deputy Commissioner of Police, Abba Kyari, and the second defendant opted for bail application because of medical conditions. But according to NDLEA, the medical condition of suspended Abba Kyari, it's not beyond its capacity. And on this premises, among other strong cases that was made by the NDLEA against suspended DCP Abba Kyari, his bail application was not granted by the court. And one thing worthy of note is that, yes, we have the NDLEA personnel waiting for the suspended DCP Abba Kyari and other applicants to get out of court, but it seems that they will be handed over to the Nigerian Correctional Service because his prayer to remain under the custody of the NDLEA was not granted by the court. And one thing also worthy of note is the fact that on the 28th of April has been set aside to review the cases of the 6th and 7th defendants who pleaded guilty to the charges.
After the sit-in, we waited almost 5 hours for the suspended Deputy Commissioner of Police to be handed over to the Nigerian Correctional Service, which eventually happened. Martia Umar, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Meanwhile, the Federal High Court in Abuja on Monday discharged and acquitted a former Minister of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, Kabiru Turaki, of money laundering charges. Justice Inyang Eko, in a ruling on the no-case submission filed by the defense, said the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, had failed to link Turaki and his co-defendants with the offences contained in the 16-count charge. Justice Eko added that the defendants dislodged all evidence of the prosecution witnesses called in the matter during cross-examination, describing the 12 witnesses relied on by the EFCC as tainted witnesses. The judge said the cross-examination established that Turaki is not a signatory to the account of the ministry and did not authorize any payment or make any transfer of funds, and also aligned with the argument that the former minister never served as a member of the Ministerial Tender Board and no inflow of funds from the account of the ministry to Turaki's company. The EFCC had, in the 16-count charge, accused the ex-minister and others of unlawful and criminal misappropriation of 715 million naira. And now to matters of insecurity, where bandits have killed at least 15 villagers when they invaded Hayinkanwa village, Yakawada ward in Giwa local government area of Kaduna State on Sunday. Reports say the victims were buried on Monday, adding that the situation in Giwa is getting worse because people have been killed daily since Thursday. According to reports, the bandits came into the village shooting sporadically, which led to the death of many. The incident is coming 3 days after about 50 people were reportedly killed across 9 villages in the same local government area. The communities are in fear, concerned that the bandits are more interested in killing people than abducting them. Meanwhile, bandits on Sunday abducted Catholic parish priest of St. Mary's Catholic Church, Serikim Power, the headquarters of Munya local government area of Niger State, Reverend Father Leo Raphael Ozigi, and 44 villagers. The Secretary, Niger State Chapter of the Christian Association of Nigeria, Pastor Raphael Opawe, confirmed the abduction, explaining that the bandits abducted the Reverend Father on his way to Gwada from Serikim Power when he ran into the bandits operating on the Serikim Power Gwada road, who whisked him away alongside other villagers. The Secretary, Munya Local Government Area, James Jagaba, described the renewed banditry operations in Munya Local Government since Saturday as pathetic. Reports say the 44 other abducted villagers were among those who returned to their communities from IDP camps on Saturday. According to reports, bandits in their numbers blocked the main road to Serikim Power from Gwada and Mina and have been operating unchallenged since Saturday, moving freely on the Serikim Power Gwada road with herds of cattle they rustled during their numerous attacks on communities. Gunmen on Monday attacked the Otoko Divisional Police Headquarters in the Obowo local government area of Imo State, leaving 2 officers injured. The Public Relations Officer, CSP Mike Abatam, who confirmed the incident and said that the command has launched an investigation into the incident. Reports say the sounds of weapons were terrifying as many residents ran into the bushes while others took cover in their houses. The injured policemen were said to have been rushed to an undisclosed hospital for treatment. The police spokesman said the operatives gave the gunmen a hot chase while combing the bush. The following items were recovered: 3 undetonated explosives, 4 expended AK-47 ammunition, 5 live cartridges, 33 expended cartridges, 2 masks, 1 pump-action gun and a mortar saw machine. You're watching Trust TV News Hour. Coming up after the break, protests over Lagos market relocation. This and more after the break. Do stay with us. Welcome back and thanks for staying with us on Trust TV News Hour. Now we'll look at our top stories. Federal High Court sitting in Abuja on Monday ordered the transfer of the suspended Deputy Commissioner of Police, Abba Kyari, and 6 others facing drug trafficking charges with him to the Kuje Correctional Center. And former President of the Senate, Bukola Saraki, Governor Aminu Tambuwal of Sokoto, and Governor Bala Muhammad of Bauchi State on Monday visited the Benue State Governor Samuel Ortom to consult with him over their presidential ambitions. And still on politics, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says it has registered an additional 57,719 voters in the ongoing continued voters registration in Nasarawa State. INEC Director, Voter Education and Publicity in the state, Shehu Menyaga, said this in an interview with Trust TV in Lafia. Abubakar Abdullahi filed in this report.
The INEC Director of Voters Education and Publicity in the state, Shehu Menyaga, who said with the assenting of the new Electoral Act into law by the President, the Commission has already placed notice on the 2023 general elections across the 13 local government areas of the state, explained that apart from the already over 1 million voters that registered, 57,719 new intended voters have also registered with the Commission in the state.
So far, the new addition is 57,719, and before this, we had over 1 million registered. As part of preparation for 2023 election, we decided to embark on the registration of voters to give an ample opportunity or window of opportunity to some people that are not registered before, and those that have just attained 18 years and above. Then those who have issued the previous elections with the PVC. Apart from that, those with the cases of failed or lost voters cards will be attended to.
The INEC director maintained that the state, which before now has only 1,495 polling units, but because of the increase in the number of voters per polling unit, the commission created 1,761 new polling units in the state in order to reduce congestion in the centers.
Number of, that's the whole number, the existing polling units, 1,495. Number of new polling units, 1,761, 1,761, totaling 3,256 polling units. We observed something, and that was congestion, overcrowding in some of the units. So that was why the commission decided to decongest some of these polling units by turning voting point and voting point settlement into full-fledged registration of polling units.
He also speaks on some of the challenges the commission is facing while discharging its functions.
Congestion, overcrowding in some of the units. So that was why the commission decided to decongest some of these polling units by turning voting point and voting point settlement into full-fledged registration of polling units.
Menenga called on people of the state to always cooperate with the commission for election success. Abubakar Abdullahi, Trust TV News, Lafia.
Nigeria Interreligious Council has held its first quarterly meeting for the year 2022. The meeting, with the theme Education for Peace and Nation Building, focuses on the challenges being faced in the education sector, insecurity and fake news, among others. Trust TV's Sagir Ibrahim filed in this report.
As the Nigeria Interreligious Council holds its first quarterly meeting, key among issues discussed were insecurity, propagation of fake news, the education sector with focus on the lingering strike by the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU. During his address, the co-chairman of the council and president of the Christian Association of Nigeria, Reverend Samson Ayokunle, expressed disappointment over the decision of the leadership of ASU to continue with the strike despite intervention of the council.
For me, I'm not pleased enough with ASU because they were impatient. I and the co-chairman and others that you sent went to meet with them. Instead of them to be patient with us, to know how to get the government to commit itself, they went and declared the strike again while our intervention was going on. To me, that was not respectful enough.
He also faulted the federal government for its failure to handle the situation effectively.
It was at that time when they were saying there is no money to answer ASU that the government went and donated $1 million to Afghanistan. How reasonable is that? When you have your own Afghanistan here at home, you have not taken care of, you are donating to another one. How will we believe you that you don't have money? We need to take a drastic decision about this impasse between ASU and the federal government.
The secretary to the government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, during his address called on NIREC to continue to intervene so as to enable Nigerian students return to school as quickly as possible.
I want to charge the leadership of NIREC to continue in this path to appeal to us to call off the strike in the interest of a safe and prosperous nation. The education of our children is very vital, and the need to continually keep them in school is key to molding them into a great leaders of tomorrow.
On the issue of security, Reverend Ayokunle lamented that the situation will only worsen except more decisive steps are taken to address it head-on.
We as leaders cannot just sit down and think that all is well. All is not well. I don't want us to come here one day as a result of insecurity and they tell us to stand for 1 minute for any of us. If the airports are not safe, sir, none of us is safe. And if they have tried it in Kaduna, they can try it at any other place.
The Sultan of Sokoto and co-chair of the council, Muhammad Saad Abubakar, during his own address, called on the public and the media to play their role towards the prevention of the propagation of fake news and misinformation in the society.
So let's always look at what we can do, what we say, and how we say things. And anything said, let me repeat, at this plenary should be quoted as Professor Oladusu said this, not Narek said this. Sultan of Sokoto said this, yes. There'll be front page headlines if I say anything wrong. But there's no problem. But do not attribute it to NIREC. NIREC is a body of 60 honest Nigerians that decided to come together to chart a way forward for peaceful coexistence in our great country.
A group in Kano is advocating capital punishment for violence against women and the girl child in Nigeria to guard against rising cases of abuse and sexual harassment. At a one-day symposium on how to empower women, experts believe that promoting gender equality in Kano is a key to sustainable development. TRS TV's correspondent Idris Jibrin reports.
Organized by Women Health Empowerment and Emancipation Initiative, this lecture series, marking the International Day for Women, aimed to equip women and girl child with necessary knowledge required to break the bias and promote gender equality in Kano State.
We are trying to push the VAP Act, that's the VAPP Act, and also we are trying to let the Kano State to know that violence against women or any kind of violence action should take place.
The need for self-esteem and women hygiene, gender-based violence, women in business and income generation, among other fundamental rights of women and girl child, are some of the issues deliberated in this lecture.
We want to see a world where women are not being marginalized, there will be no discrimination, and then there will be no stereotypes for women. So basically, the reason for this program is to empower women with information such that they can actually express themselves fully in the society. And then we also want to see where women are taking up spaces, especially for decision making and then even in politics.
According to these women, violence against them and girl child in Kano State and across the country has since become a threat to achieving gender equality, largely due to the absence of sustainable legislative provision in the country.
Majorly, we are concerned about talking about how these crimes are being perpetrated, because if you go online and our media, you see every day is about this person have been caught. Okay, he has kidnapped a girl, he has killed a girl, and he will tell you all the tactics up till the end of how he has done this thing. But hardly do we come to learn and hear about that person has either been killed, either by hanging in whatever way. Yes, it depends on the crime. Like if you murder a child, you kidnap a child and rape her and murder her, of course it should be a capital punishment. You should be killed.
For a long time in Kano State, we've been advocating for the Child Protection Bill to be passed. And for the penal code, you know, there was a law in 2015 that was passed at the national level, which is the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Law in 2015, but Kano State is yet to pass that law.
At the end of this meeting, participants are expected to be fully equipped with necessary knowledge and skills required to break the bias and promote gender equality as a key to sustainable tomorrow in northern Nigeria. Idris Jibrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
And members of the Aromole Tiesho Market Association in Apambang are calling on the federal government to rescind their 7 days ultimatum and allow them to occupy the underbridge environment. The traders, in their numbers with various inscriptions on their placards, said they have no place to go after the 7-day notice. The traders said markets affected by the directive include the Aromole Tiesho Market, Shoe and Bag Market, Erewolede Market, and ECOWAS Market and Ishejere Market. This comes a few days after the popular Apongbo Market was gutted by fire. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu told them to leave the premises as all occupants of under-bridges in Lagos State will be forced out of the bridges and possibly relocated to a befitting environment for their trade.
And we cannot afford to. Obalinde, similarly. And so I want to use you men, gentlemen of the press, to let's pass on this information. Government is not about making life any more difficult for its citizens. That's not the plan. But it's for the citizens to know that their commerce and their activity needs to be done in proper markets, in places that have been designated as proper markets. I will work with the special advisor CBD and the local government chairman. I will see how we bring forward representative of the traders, and we can both identify where we can reallocate or relocate them to very, very, very quickly. And these are some of the things that we're going to do to ensure that they do not miss their source of livelihood. But to go back to how it's been done is to mean that we're being reckless, because we cannot be assured of the safety, of this bridge, if we have to take them back there. And so we'll go to Obalinde as well, and we're also going to repeat the same thing. It's about time in which we need to get people off under the bridges. Because once it happens, once things like this happen, it affects everyone. It affects the entire economy of Lagos, and that is certainly not acceptable.
Meanwhile, furniture and other food items worth millions of naira were burnt to ashes in a fire outbreak in Katsina Metropolis late Sunday night. The fire started at the carpentry workshop and extended to a warehouse and burnt almost everything, including furniture, the floor, cash and other valuables. The report.
The owner of the carpentry workshop, Shamsu Sani, from where the fire started, told Trust Television that the cause of the fire outbreak has not been ascertained, though no life was lost to the inferno. But the fire burnt almost everything in the workshop and even extended to another building where flour and other food items were stored. As at 2 p.m. this Monday, people were trooping to sympathize with the victims at the scene of the incidents. You see, we lost almost everything. We lost all our furniture, both new ones and those brought us for repairs. They have burnt to ashes. I can only give you a conservative estimate. Maybe I can only tell you that we lost at least 4 to 5 million naira in this inferno. But it was a serious incident, and we submit everything to the Almighty God. The places affected are MK Bilhaki Modern Furniture and Al Hassan Ventures Limited, Makudawa in Katsina Metropolis. Our warehouse has been affected. Look at it. Look at our flour. We are trying to sort it out and see what we can do. We lost properties worth millions of naira here. And even the flour, look at how it was damaged. Some of it was burnt down. In fact, we made a lot of loss here. The men and officers of the Katsina State Fire Service Department, with the support of some Samaritans, assisted in putting off the fire. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
And now to some breaking news just reaching us. Unconfirmed reports say suspected terrorists have detonated bombs on the rail track of the Abuja-Kaduna train, derailing a train bound for Kaduna. Reports say the attack occurred along the Katari and Rijana area. We will bring you more details as we receive it. Nigerian Navy Forward Operation Base, Bonny Island, River State, arrests 14 suspected oil thieves, pledging those necessary measures will be deployed to checkmate the ugly trend in the country's territorial waters. The officers of the base handed over a vessel, MT Prayer 1, seized with over 2 million litres of crude oil with 14 crew members to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, for further investigation and prosecution. The report.
The executive officer of the Nigerian Navy Forwarded Operating Base FOB Bonny, Commander Ibekwe Ogbadu, said the vessel flying a Nigerian flag with 13 Nigerians and 1 Ghanaian crew member is seized offshore Bonny Fairway buoy with its automatic identification system switched off for 8 days. On his part, representatives of the EFCC, Arasa Shaka, said the commission will commence investigation into the matter to ascertain the offences levelled against them, after which prosecution will follow.
MT Prayer 1 was arrested offshore Bonny Fairway buoy. The vessel was flying Nigerian flag with 14 crew, 13 Nigerians and 1 Ghanaian. Preliminary investigation revealed that the vessel was laden with 2,458,350 litres of crude oil, while she had 10,000 litres of automotive gas oil in her service tanks as her bunker. As at the time of arrest, her Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency documents were valid till 10th of April 2022, but her automatic identification system based on Regional Maritime Awareness Capability Center information was confirmed to have been switched off for about 8 days from 29th of December 2021 till the time she was intercepted on 5th of January 2022.
Taking over ceremony, we will subject the vessel in question and the crew members to thorough investigation and ensure that everyone involved is prosecuted.
Commander Ibekwe also hands over a vessel, MT Saibu, to the Nigerian Maritime and Safety Agency, NIMASA, for further investigation and appropriate sanction. He said the vessel is arrested for automatic identification system infractions and expired NIMASA certificate.
The vessel was arrested for automatic identification system infractions as well as expired NIMASA certificate. Based on Eastern Regional Control Center intercept, the vessel was tracked in Nigerian waters on 19th November 2021, from when she went stealth and was later detected 23 nautical miles south of Lome. Pertinently, it was also noted that the vessel was seen entering Nigerian exclusive zone on 15th of February 2022 and anchored at Anchorage Prohibited Area in Lagos on 16th February 2022. The vessel later switched off her automatic identification system until 19th February 2022 when she was approaching Bonny Channel, amounting to about 90 days of stealth movement in Nigerian waters.
When they intercepted me last month of 20, and they said my offense was my AIS is off, so which I led them to understand that my AIS off due to my machinery that failed, because my AIS being powered by the generator. So, and when my generator is being down, so the AIS is not more working at that time.
For 90
so
days.
For when I rectified the problem, then the AIS come up back.
For 90 days.
So, which I explained to them. So I have a failure of AIS, which I later rectified.
Commander Ogbadu maintained that the vision of the Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Awal Gambo, to deploy necessary logistics to curb economic sabotage on the waterways remains the focus of the Nigerian Navy. He stressed that the Navy is committed to discharging its constitutional mandate of securing the Nigerian maritime space effectively.
And the Nigeria Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, in Gombe State says allegations of extortion against its personnel by the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, Gombe State chapter, are false. Addressing a press conference, Commandant of the NSCDC in Gombe, Waziri Goni, challenged IPMAN to produce evidence to prove the allegations. Ibrahim Ismail now reports. All right, that report will come in our subsequent bulletins. The Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps has arrested 17 suspects who are conveying 8 tankers containing over 360,000 illegally refined automated gas oil. Parading the suspects at the exhibit yard of the command of the Corps, the Public Relations Officer of the NSCDC, Emeka Peters, said the civil defense is committed to ridding the state of vandalism and illegal oil bunkering and called for quicker dispensation of justice. He said the arrest was successful following the Commandant General's Special Intelligence Squad efforts to fight against vandalism, illegal oil bunkering and crude oil theft in the Niger Delta region. The spokesperson added that while investigation is still ongoing, the Corps will go beyond the arrest of conveyors of the illegal product to those behind oil theft and illegal refining.
Intensive investigation to get first-hand information not only on the drivers and the suspect, but information that will lead us down to the creeks, their informants. How do they get this product? Where do they get it? But what we are using this opportunity to also beg that the judicial process should also speed up the case of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, so that, because like as you can see now, the yard is getting filled up. It is no longer business as usual when we only arrest the drivers and their motorboy. This time around, we'll go down to the creeks, we'll arrest the owners of the trucks, we'll arrest their sponsors, we'll also arrest and prosecute owners of landed properties being used for these dastard acts. We have confiscated properties used for pipeline vandalism and crude oil theft in the country.
And the Association of Bureau de Change Operators of Nigeria has appealed to the Central Bank of Nigeria to allow Bureau de Change operators to continue to sell dollars to retail and foreign exchange buyers. In a notice to its members released at the weekend, ABCON's National Executive Council appealed to the CBN to revisit the stoppage of dollar sales to the BDCs to bring lasting stability to the Naira. The BDCs disagreed with the claims that the Naira has remained largely stable following the stoppage of dollar allocation to them. According to the union, BDCs remain the most potent tool for the CBN to achieve its forex rate management. Now a look at the foreign scene, where Ukraine's foreign ministry says about 170,000 civilians remain trapped in Mariupol without adequate food, water or medicine, as the UN said some 3.9 million people have fled their homes. The Kremlin said Russia and Ukrainian negotiators could resume face-to-face talks in Turkey as early as Tuesday. Ukraine Prosecutor General Irina Venediktova says it has proof Russian forces have used banned cluster bombs in 2 southern regions of the country. Cluster bombs spread dozens of tiny explosive charges across an area, some of which may not immediately explode and in fact become anti-personnel mines that pose a threat to civilians long after a conflict ends. Irpin Mayor Alexander Marushkin said on Monday that Ukrainian forces had retaken full control of the town, one of the hotspots of battles with Russian troops near the capital, Kyiv. And Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett has tested positive for COVID-19 barely 24 hours after his meeting with the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken in Jerusalem. The PM's office disclosed this to AFP journalists on Monday. Bennett had met with Blinken in Jerusalem on Sunday during talks of a historic summit of Israeli and Arab diplomats. It was reported that the Prime Minister was not wearing a face mask during the joint news conference with Blinken on Sunday. A statement from his office said on Monday that he is feeling well and will continue his schedule as planned from his home. We will now join Adeniyi Ajishafe for sports news.
Super Eagles of Nigeria says they are fully prepared ahead of Tuesday's FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022 playoff battle against Ghana's Black Stars. With determination to put up a performance that will earn Nigeria 7th place appearance at World Cup since 1994 debut. Captain Ahmed Musa says it won't be easy against Ghana, but Eagles are ready for showdown. Nigeria has been at all FIFA World Cup finals since 1994, except 2006 edition in Germany. Nigeria and Ghana were involved in the FIFA World Cup qualifier in 2001 when they finished 0-0 in Accra, and Nigeria swept Ghana aside 3-0 in Port Harcourt in July 2001 to qualify for Korea-Japan 2002. Meanwhile, the Confederation of African Football (CAF) has approved request by Nigeria to allow spectators fill 6,000 capacity MK Abiola Stadium in Abuja for Tuesday's must-win World Cup playoffs against Ghana, as against 30,000 earlier approved. Ghana hosted Nigeria at 40,000 capacity Babayara Stadium in Kumasi for the first clash, which ended 0-0 on Friday, while the winner of the second leg will march to 2022 World Cup in Qatar in November. That's Sport News. I am Ademi Ajishafe.
And that wraps up Trust TV News Hour for tonight. Don't forget, you can subscribe to watch us live on YouTube and follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Thanks for joining us.